Hollywood's golden age conjures images of glittering premieres, glamorous parties, and larger-than-life personalities who seem to transcend mere mortality. Yet, when the curtains finally closed on these luminous figures, each star left behind a singular, often startling request that offered a glimpse of who they truly were beyond the camera's gaze. Some demanded whimsical items, like a beloved locket or the iconic cape of a horror role, be buried with them. Others meticulously controlled every detail of their send-off, from unconventional burial locations to cryptic exclusions of family. In the end, these final moments reveal private dramas as potent as any Hollywood script, underscoring that even legends must face mortality in deeply personal ways. Step into the shadows of the silver screen to discover how these extraordinary individuals authored their own last acts, ensuring their myths would endure long after the cameras stopped rolling. Joan Crawford. Joan Crawford's final chapter began with a surprising quiet, an understatement for a woman who had spent her life in Hollywood's spotlight. Even though her estate was modest by celebrity standards, her last act revealed a chilling resolve. She chose to be cremated and placed in Ferncliff Cemetery, a serene location in New York, far removed from the bright lights of Hollywood. In death, Joan's story turned from glamour to deep familial rift. She famously left her two eldest children out of her will, writing only, "for reasons which are well known to them." This cryptic phrase told a tale of bitterness and estrangement, casting a long shadow over her stardom. Whereas some stars seek immortality through grand memorials, Joan's final resting place remains subtle, offering few clues about the complicated life she led behind the scenes.
I've never asked for more, and I will not settle for less.
Wallace Reid. The beloved golden boy of silent cinema, Wallace Reid once represented youth, charm, and endless possibility. Yet behind that dazzling smile lay a man wrestling with addiction. A prescription for pain relief spiraled into a destructive habit that eroded the polished image the studios had built. At the end, his sole request was heart-wrenching in its simplicity. He wished to be buried with a small silver locket containing a photograph of his wife, Dorothy Davenport. This token captured his lingering love and also his regret at having let that love down. When he was laid to rest in a modest grave, fans and friends saw a different side to the glamorous idol. A man who yearned for forgiveness, solace, and a sense of peace he'd never quite found in life. Pola Negri. Pola Negri dazzled the silent screen with her dramatic flair and striking looks, enthralling audiences across the globe. In her life's final act, she made a request that veered into the territory of myth. She claimed to possess a vial of Rudolph Valentino's ashes, though Valentino had never been cremated, and wanted it buried with her. Whether this was a grand romantic gesture or a final bid for scandal, nobody knew for sure. Her burial site in California, ornate and reminiscent of old-world elegance, mirrors her mystique. Fans still speculate about the true nature of that vial. Was it genuine proof of a legendary romance, or just one last performance from a star who thrived on captivating attention? Tallulah Bankhead. From her husky voice to her wicked sense of humor, Tallulah Bankhead defined rebellion in Hollywood's golden era. To no one's surprise, her farewell was as eclectic as her lifestyle. She requested 3 items for her final journey: a bottle of bourbon, a pack of cigarettes, and the Bible. This odd combination captured the contradictions at the heart of her personality. An unabashed lover of life's indulgences, yet still tethered to faith in her own offbeat way. Instead of Hollywood, she chose to rest in St. Paul's churchyard in Maryland, near the family that grounded her. Even in death, Tallulah managed to fuse rakish irreverence with a sense of tradition, reminding everyone that she was impossible to pin down.
Is it?
Well, let's not go into that, shall we?
Clark Gable. Hollywood's beloved king, Clark Gable appeared unshakable on screen, his swagger unmatched, his presence magnetic. But his heart, it turned out, belonged to one woman. Carol Lombard. When Lombard died tragically in a plane crash, Gable was devastated. Though he later remarried, he never truly let Carol's memory go. His final wish spoke volumes about that bond. He wanted to be buried beside her at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale. The two rest under simple markers that stand in touching contrast to their dazzling careers. In that quiet space, the King of Hollywood at last found the peace he had lost years before, reunited with the love of his life.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Errol Flynn. Errol Flynn built his legend on sword fights, pirate ships, and larger-than-life swagger, both on-screen and off. He had one last dramatic wish for his funeral: to be laid to rest alongside a 6-foot statue of a nude woman that had long adorned his home. In true Hollywood style, he wanted an exit as grand as his life, but the plan was deemed too impractical by those left behind. When he passed, only a small gathering of friends and family attended his final rites, and the statue was nowhere to be found. Instead, Flynn was interred under a simple gravestone that belied his larger-than-life persona. It seemed, in the end, that the flamboyant star went quietly into the night. Jean Harlow. Jean Harlow, the Platinum Enchantress, captivated audiences with her effervescence and sparkling allure. Fate dealt her a cruel hand when she died at just 26, leaving Hollywood reeling with loss. True to her iconic image, Harlow's burial wish was a study in pure white. She wanted to be dressed in a white gown, blanketed by white flowers, inside a gleaming white marble crypt. It was a vision that froze her in time as the screen's eternal blonde bombshell. William Powell, her devoted partner, ensured that her farewell was as radiant as she had been in life, giving Hollywood yet another bittersweet legend of stardom snuffed out too soon. Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor's life was a whirlwind of diamonds, romance, and headlines. She made sure her final send-off would be equally unforgettable. In a twist befitting her flair for drama, the service started on time, but Elizabeth arrived, quite literally, 15 minutes late, fulfilling her wish to be fashionably behind schedule, even at her own funeral. Entombed in the great mausoleum at Forest Lawn, Glendale, she lies under a beautifully carved angel. Contrary to some rumors, her crypt is marked, though few fans see it up close due to the mausoleum's strict privacy rules. In every respect, down to rumored jewels placed with her, Elizabeth Taylor's last chapter was just as fascinating as the life she led.
Oh, I just love those romantic roles.
Bela Lugosi. Bela Lugosi will forever be synonymous with Count Dracula, a role that brought him both fame and frustration. When the end finally came in 1956, Lugosi embraced the character he could never truly escape. He requested to be buried wearing Dracula's iconic cape, a tangible reminder of the role that overshadowed his career. By the time of his death, Lugosi had fallen on hard times financially, and his funeral was a modest affair, attended by only a handful of friends and family. Yet the choice to don the cape in death transformed his grave into a lasting pilgrimage site for horror devotees, reflecting the powerful bond between actor and character. Beyond the spotlight, other legends and their surprising endings. Mary Pickford. The beloved America's sweetheart could have chosen a grand memorial, but Mary Pickford's heart was with her mother and siblings. She rests with them in Forest Lawn, Glendale, far from the grandiosity that might have been expected for a pioneering female mogul of early cinema. Rudolph Valentino. When Valentino died suddenly at 31, he left no formal burial instructions. Friends placed him in a borrowed crypt at Hollywood Forever Cemetery, meant to be temporary. Nearly a century later, he remains there, visited by the mysterious Lady in Black, who leaves a single red rose each year, a timeless gesture of devotion to Hollywood's first great lover. Greta Garbo. Greta Garbo once declared she wished only for solitude, a sentiment she carried into her final arrangement. She chose a modest plot in her homeland of Sweden, ensuring her ashes would remain far from Hollywood's curious gaze. Purchased well in advance, the site reflected her unwavering pursuit of privacy. Mae West. Even in death, Mae West's wicked sense of humor endured. She was placed in Brooklyn's Cypress Hills Cemetery in a family mausoleum. The plaque reads, "I'm no angel," a cheeky nod to one of her most famous films. True to form, she selected a glamorous gown for her final outfit, ensuring the last laugh was hers.
I'll never forget you.
No one ever does.
W.C. Fields. Despite his quip about wanting his epitaph to read, "On the whole, I'd rather be in Philadelphia," W.C. Fields ended up in Forest Lawn, California. His understated marker bears no mention of his famed comedic remark, a final irony for a man known for jabs and wry one-liners. Theda Bara, dubbed the original vamp of the silent screen, Theda Bara was a master of mystery. She wished to be cremated and have her ashes scattered over the Pacific, a rare request at the time. Her family delayed this step, keeping her ashes for years before finally following through with her final wish, adding one more layer of intrigue to a star whose on-screen legacy was largely lost in a studio fire. Hollywood's Golden Age stars knew how to make an entrance, and as we've seen, many made equally dramatic exits. From heartfelt gestures to eccentric demands, each final wish reveals something about the person behind the fame. If you enjoyed this journey into Hollywood history, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you won't miss our next deep dive into the legends who shaped cinema's past. Until next time, thanks for watching, and keep celebrating the magic of Hollywood's golden era.